Well, we do believe it's an article of faith, one of the 6 basic articles of faith for every Muslim to believe that there is a day of judgment and subsequently there is heaven or hell. The day of judgment is basically we all return to God, and God is going to take all the work we have done in this life, in this world, all the choices we have made, everything we said, every decision we made, and weigh it according to His law, if it was good choice, good decision, or good word, or was it something contrary to what He instructed us. And then sum of all of our deeds and life experiences and choices and decisions are really weighed by God, who then decides if we qualify to go to heaven or not. Now, even though someone could be near perfect in all what they do, that does not guarantee heaven unless the person believes in God and the person is shown mercy by God. Meaning, to get to heaven, God has to show His mercy, and it's a grant, it's a gift. So all the deeds in the world cannot really earn heaven, but they are the evidence or the proof that the person did their best. And God, of course, is the most merciful, infinitely merciful, and would put people in heaven who have at least done what they could. Those who went intentionally against the law, violated God's law, the commandments, and they hurt people, their chances diminish to go to heaven, because it's the justice of God now comes in, that He has to bestow on the victims the rights and make the aggressors pay for their crimes. And the infinite of justice of God has to take place on the day of judgment. And some people end up with a loss balance, where they have to serve a sentence or a term in hell, being punished for their crimes. So it could be a very short sentence, it could be a very long sentence. There are individuals who did terrible crimes, killed lots of people, did a lot of damage, who might serve forever in hell, may not have a chance of getting out of hell. And it's totally the decision of God. No one can, sway God one way or the other to tell Him what to do. So we are totally at His mercy as human beings.
There is a chance to get out of hell.
There is a chance to get out of hell. It's an analogy would be, in this life, you go before a judge, and the judge say you're going to serve so many days or weeks or months or years in jail for a crime you committed. That could be commuted, but you can get out. Some will serve a life sentence or multiple life sentences. On the other hand, God has all the evidence and has all the knowledge of what took place, what choices were made. He knows the intention behind every choice and every word and every thought. So He takes into consideration the intentions. He takes into consideration the knowledge, what we know before we made that choice. All that is weighed in a very complex formula that only God can do, to really be totally fair to His His children or His creatures, and He is going to reward those who have done good many folds in heaven. And there is a fundamental rule that says everything that you do good, God automatically multiplies it by 10 to give you 10 chances to get to heaven then. And everything that someone does bad, it's recorded once. And if the person within their lifetime repents to God and asks God for forgiveness, God would forgive him or her. And they may not have to pay for it if they were sincerely sorry for what they have done. And if it involves another human being, if they, go to that human being and get their forgiveness by making it up to them, if financially or whichever way they pay back, and that human being forgives, then God will accept. So there are chances within one's lifetime to clear up their debt to God and to other human beings, and come on the day of judgment with no sins, or the sins are forgiven beforehand, and still make it to heaven even though they made mistakes. So the Muslim has or considers this life as a test, as an exam, and like in school, that is a lifetime exam where we learn something, we get quizzed or tested on it, there are homework. So we are constantly getting graded, and we get chances to make up missed homework or quizzes or mistakes. We can always ask for forgiveness. So during this life, we are working hard to graduate with the best GPA possible. And then at the end of life, God is going to sum up our life experience like school and give us our report card and say, well, this is your transcript of what you have done. And so like a student, a person has to struggle all their lives to do their best. But at the same time, we believe that a human being, regardless of what they do, ultimately it's God who decides with His mercy that you tried, I know that, so He can forgive everything that a person has done and still put them in heaven because it's His decision anyway. We believe that it is the only way conforming to God's justice, but what that means is not only Muslims go to heaven, meaning any human being who in their lives they make good choices, and anyone who believes in God and does good deeds is going to make it to heaven, regardless of if they are Muslim or Jew or Christian or other. They are going to do it. So God is not racist, is not going to send only specific people or specific gender, or this is open for everybody. But we believe that this is the system. As in a college, this is a system for all students, regardless of their race or color or gender or age. If they study, if they do well on the test, if they do their homework, their projects, they get the score, the school would be impartial. And we believe God is the same way. He's going to take all human beings that ever lived, look at their life experience, the choices they made, and judge them on that. So it's not exclusive to the Muslims. Any human being could make it to heaven. But as a system, I believe this is it. Meaning, we do not believe that someone else is going to pay for my sins, nor because I belong to a specific family or religion that I'm automatically guaranteed heaven. So other people simply believe if they belong to a certain group or tribe or nation or race or religion or profess certain statement, that regardless of what they have done, it could land them in heaven. And we believe that's not fair for those who do not necessarily utter that statement or follow that or belong to that group. We believe across all races, any human being who does the best they can in doing good to themselves, to their families, to others, they'll make it to heaven. Only those who have truly committed a lot of terrible things would not make it to heaven, would have to pay for the crimes that they have committed against themselves, against their families, their neighbors, against others. So, and regardless of who they are, they're Muslim, Christian, Jew, Hindu, Buddhist, whatever label they carry does not matter. God is not looking at their colors or their labels or their gender. God is looking at their actions, their choices that they have made, under what circumstances, their intentions, judging that. And if they intended to do evil, bad, hurt others, they have to pay for it. Because this is God's system or God's kingdom, and He wants justice for everybody. He loves all the same, and He's not going to let one sibling, attack another without, making them pay for it. Yes, there is a hell. Heaven and hell in Islam are very real things. They're not here on earth. They're not virtual things. They are in existence beyond this universe as we know it. And they were there, they are created, and they are where we will end up as human beings. Beyond this life, we will be resurrected, we'll get new bodies and suitable to be in heaven, in paradise, and will also be suitable to be able to see God and to see the angels and to be in that company. The bodies that we're given now are suitable for our life here on earth. But when we die, we depart from those bodies, and we go to another dimension where we wait till that day of judgment, where time is suspended. And then on the day of judgment, all human beings are resurrected, and all these spirits, if you will, would be given new bodies, and then it's a very real thing that we all stand in body and soul in front of God, and we get judged for it. Heaven is mentioned frequently throughout the scriptures in the Quran, and it describes a utopian life, a perfect life, very peaceful. Human beings there would, first they would recognize each other, they would know and remember their days here on earth and what their life was like. But also there it's perfect, there's no sickness, no aging, no boredom, no conflict, no hatred, no jealousy. All human beings are purified. God takes away from them all the imperfections that they have, and they truly live in perfect harmony, in a perfect life, where there are houses or palaces, there are gardens, there are fruits of all kinds, there are markets, people, so it's a fuller life than this life that people enjoy permanently. There's no end to it, and there is an emphasis in the scripture that this life compared to that is, very short, that we are here for a very short period of time compared to that life. A day of the hereafter is like 1,000 years of our lives here. And yet, those days are endless days. So they are there forever. There's no stop to it. There's no